Yeah, go on then. I'm trying not to keep walking on this because it's...
Come on, stand on here.
Oh yeah,
share
that's
some
much better.
cardboard with me.
I could pretend we're on Brighton Beach, which we discovered the other day when we went to do an interview. It's actually not a beach at all, and there's just loads of stones
pebbles.
like this.
It's just where land meets water.
I so did not know that. I thought it was going to be like a nice sandy beach. Right, yeah, I'm ready now.
Ready? Okay, give it 5. Just so I've got enough time to cut it.
Okay. Being a fan of the Bluetones, I was slightly apprehensive when I heard that you were releasing a solo album, just in case you'd had this artistic desire to take a new direction and do something really different. Yeah. Why did you decide to release Muscle Memory as a solo project?
Memory muscle.
Memory Muscle. It does say that.
It was more a case of the opportunity arose. Really, about 4 years ago, the band had a bit of a break. And I was continually writing songs and sort of making demos and that sort of thing, and doing acoustic nights and doing sort of little acoustic tours around the country and that sort of thing. And then about 18 months ago, word got to a label about what I'd been doing, and they just said, "How would you feel about putting an album out on your own?" And I hummed and ahed and sort of thought, well, why not? Yeah. It's nice to be asked. I probably won't get this opportunity again, and as long as the rest of the guys didn't mind, I thought, let's do it. Yeah. I was incredibly flattered, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, this could be interesting. It'd give me a chance to work with some new people, and to sort of take charge for once, because the Bluetones is very much a democratic process, which is why the songs that I'd written on my own weren't going to become Bluetones songs, because we tend to rewrite together. Oh, right. And so it wouldn't have felt right just saying, here's some finished songs that we can all play.
Do them.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't like it if someone said, here you go, I've written all these songs, you just sing them. We all like to be involved. And so, my songs were sitting on the shelf for a couple of years, and when I got approached by this label, I thought, I'll write a few more, and like I say, see how it goes. Let's, see who wants to collaborate. And I just really enjoyed the process. It was something that when it was finished, when the album was finished, it kind of felt sort of empty and a bit sad at the end of it, because I've been doing it for so long, or working on it for so long, and to finally have it in the can was kind of a bit weird. It was one of those kind of ongoing processes that I enjoyed the process so much that to finally have it finished, it was like, oh no, I've got nothing to do.
Do you think you'd do it again then?
If I had the opportunity, I would, yeah, definitely. But it's just a case of fitting it around what the Bluetones are doing, because that's always going to be that's going to be my priority.
Yeah, because you're doing another album.
Yeah, we are. We've already started swapping demos, and when I say demos, it's just a case of ideas. Adam just records chord sequences, and Scott records little pieces of music, and they're not fully formed or finished. It's just, this is what's on my mind, so I can start getting it in my head and getting tunes together and getting moods together. Yes, and there'll be another album, I imagine, early next year, next spring, and another tour to go along with that.
Cool.
Is that all right? Can you still hear us?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Come around this side.
So was it really different then recording a solo album than it was recording with the Bluetones?
Yeah, it was, because I don't have my team around me. I was very much making decisions, and I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But only as it was quite nice to just work a different way. It's not like I don't think it's going to affect anything that when we get back together. I'm not going to be like, well, I've done it on my own now. This is the way I think we should do it. Listen to me. But it was refreshing. It felt new, and putting the band together and rehearsing with the band and doing these little gigs, it feels like a new band and a new experience. And even though it's something I've been doing for the last 14 years, I suppose, touring and humping gear and all that sort of stuff, it feels fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh songs, a fresh, a new beginning in a way, but only for a little while.
So a new beginning, but without an ending.
Yes.
That's the best way.
Yeah,
really,
I don't see that there has to be some sort of. There's no sort of competition between the two things. Everyone else in the Bluetones is really kind of behind this, and like I said, we're taking a bit of time off at the moment for various reasons. Ed's is doing his studies, and we work around his studies a little bit. Adam had a baby last year, so his plate's kind of full, and Scott's got a baby coming any day now, and I've got a baby coming next month. So there's something in the air.
Most definitely. One of my favourite tracks from the new album is So It Goes. Is Kurt Vonnegut one of your favourite authors then, is it?
Yeah. Very much. It's quite a big inspiration on the writing for this album particularly. I mean, I read Kurt a few years ago, and then in the last year I've read a lot of stuff that I'd sort of had saved up, books I'd bought that just sort of were gathering dust. It's like, I've got to get stuck into those. And yeah, about when he died last year, it all sort of came home a little bit.
Yeah.
And I thought I wanted to sort of get some kind of tribute down as my personal sort of way of saying thank you for the music, as it were, you know.
So do you think you'd ever do that yourself, like write books and stuff? Because when I was listening to the album, some of the lyrics are just brilliant. I like Hope is a gun that you load every day.
Oh, thanks very much. And
I just wondered if you ever thought of actually getting into writing as well as the music, or...
Well, I do enjoy writing a bit of prose, and I don't know if I'd be have the tools to sort of go into writing a novel or anything like that. But I do enjoy getting my thoughts down. Perhaps one day I might kind of write some kind of, I don't know, just some kind of guides to being in a crappy band. A guide, you know, how to be in an obscure band, sort of. But at the moment, I very much enjoy sort of the sort of poetry side of things, and writing verse. And we'll see, though. I mean, when I do blogs and stuff like that for the MySpace page, I always find that quite good fun.
Yeah, they're very literary, your blogs, actually.
Do you think?
They're beautifully written, I think.
Oh, thanks very much.
I'm very much into writing. I want to be a writer myself.
Oh, really?
So
Well, I think I'd like to do something along, you know, journalistic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very nice of you to say. Like, I do enjoy it, and people have said some very kind things about it. So who knows?
I thought it was brilliant.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Do you actually think then, like with the MySpace and you do the blogs, do you think the internet is a good thing for bands and it helps you to engage more with your fans, or?
Absolutely, for that reason mostly, because you can have direct contact. I mean, I'm very new to the MySpace thing. I never really got involved before. We always had other people who were running the Bluetones sites, and there's just too many. There are too many flipping crazy people out there that you don't want to give them, you don't want to encourage them.
Yeah.
You know. But having said that, I find it's quite a nice release to get into, you know, when people get in touch and they seem all right, and you kind of respond to their questions and queries and the nice things that they say. I always tend to sort of dip in and say hello and write back and say thank you. I like to add the personal touch.
Yeah.
And I don't see how it can be anything but a good thing to have that kind of engagement with your audience. Obviously, if you're Whitney Houston, you're not going to have that much time on your hands. But at the moment, I do find it quite enjoyable, and it is a good thing. Because you can have direct contact with the people who are spending their hard-earned money to come and see you or buy your records, and I mean, I would have liked it as a fan of certain artists when I was growing up. If I could have sent them a message and got a reply, that would have kind of blown my mind.
It kind of scares me in a way, though, because having been a journalist, sometimes you meet people who are in bands that you really like and they're horrible.
Yeah.
And it kind of ruins the illusion a little bit.
Yeah.
You think, right, I still like your songs.
But something's been tainted.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's the way of the world, isn't it?
Yeah. But it could work the other way as well, couldn't it? You could have like crazy obsessive fans
who really dig the music, they get it, and they're really passionate about it, but they're nuts.
Yeah.
And that is the case, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
They're out there.
Which of the new tracks is your favourite, do you think? Do you have a favourite, or?
I don't really have a favourite. I know I've always been very fond of I'm Sick, because that was one of the first songs that I wrote for the album. and it was one that you know, when I first wrote it, I was hearing it with strings and with horns and that sort of thing. I never thought I'd get the chance to properly embellish it, and to have had the, like I say, the collaborations that I've had on this record. That's one of the ones I'm most pleased with. That and I think Lay Low as well are two of my favourites. And the very first song, I really like how Maggie got a bounce back. It's one I think that's quite quirky and.
Is it about hair? Is that
yes,
right? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Just wondered.
Essentially, it is.
Okay. So, potential to be a writer. What about a comedian after the whole Little Britain thing? Is that something that you like, or?
Well, no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. That's a real gift, isn't it? Being able to make people laugh. It's
quite scary as well, the idea that, because if you're in a band and you've got your music, you go on, you play your music, and you know, okay, these people have come to listen to it and they're going to probably like it. But if you're a comedian, you're going out there to make people laugh, and
you're
they might just not find you funny.
You're putting yourself on the line in a completely different way, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I like hanging around funny people, basically, and that's how the whole Little Britain thing came about. Because I was friends with Matt and David for quite a few years now, and when they were shooting the first series, they were saying, you know, do you fancy just coming along making a cameo in one episode? And it's like, yeah, of course I do. I mean, obviously no one envisaged that it was going to be as popular as it had turned out to be. And that's how I met David Arnold as well.
Yeah.
Because we were in the same scene together, the same sketch together, should I say. And I've just been really lucky. I've just met some really great people over the course of this journey that I've been on. And but no, I don't see myself as branching into the comedy world. I think that's a whole other chemistry, isn't it?
Yeah. So of all the people that you've worked with over the years, who do you think has really helped you on that journey? Who do you think you've really enjoyed working with?
Oh, well, it has to be the rest of the Bluetones,
I
suppose. Because, I mean, the fact that we've stayed together for so long, it tells you that there is a real strong chemistry between us, and the creative process. It seems to, every time we go into the studio to make a new record, it always feels like a first attempt, you know, because you do try to stay as fresh as possible and as inspired as possible, and keep everyone else in the band impressed. We try to impress each other the whole time, you know, with whatever we bring to the table, and it's still very much there. We still want to improve ourselves, and obviously your career is always going to be seen as a whole single thing, but for us it's always, you know, there's broken up with chapters, each new album, and each time we go out and tour a new set of songs, it feels like, you know, you're reborn to a certain extent, and that's what's kept us so fresh, and what keeps us kind of so enthusiastic about what we do, and hence that spilled over into this, because knowing that we had a break coming up, it was kind of, well, I don't want to sit around. I don't want to sit around twiddling my thumbs. I don't know what else to do. So this is a good opportunity for me to just keep my hand in, like we were saying earlier, keep the cobwebs at bay.
Yeah. So at the moment you're playing gigs in quite intimate venues. Do you prefer that kind of thing, or do you prefer the big festivals, or is there merit in all of them?
I think that's the thing. Yeah, they both have their good and bad points, isn't it? There's nothing more depressing than playing in a small place to two men and a dog. But at the same time,
the dog could be really appreciative, and
they've got great hearing, and so I imagine great musical sense. But you know, sometimes you can go on and play a festival or a big stage, and it feels really kind of impersonal as well. So I don't prefer one above the other. I mean, I guess I prefer being in a room where you can feel like you've had some kind of contact with an audience, and you've had some kind of connection, and something very hard to define has happened, and because it's all about communication, isn't it? It's all about just sort of, we're all alive on this planet at the same time. It's all about kind of celebrating that in a weird way, and I still get a kick out of playing live, and I guess that little boy in me that likes to show off is still very much, it's being fed in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, and having said that, I mean, it was always going to be the case with this project that I wanted to kind of start again to a degree. Get the band and a very small crew into the back of a van into small venues and see what happens, and see if because it's better to do it that way than to sort of try and go to medium-sized or larger halls and no one turns up.
No.
I mean, I've got no preconceptions. I don't expect the success of the Bluetones to carry on into this. Because people like the Bluetones for whatever reason, but I don't have any kind of preconceived expectations with this. I do think it's a new thing, and people are probably going to take a little bit more time to warm to it, if they warm to it at all. My biggest worry is that people will think, oh no, he's splitting up the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sort of maybe think ill of me.
Right.
But there's not. It's just a case of this is just like
Something else you want to do.
continuing on. Yeah, one feeds the other.
The mainstream music press at the moment seem to focus a lot on image of the band, and they don't really talk much about music anymore. They talk more about where the band's been seen and who they've been seen with. What do you think of this version of music that they seem to be creating at the moment?
It's all become quite tabloidy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like OK Magazine but with guitars.
What, the NME?
Yeah.
Well, I've not really read much of the NME lately, but that's probably why I stopped reading it. Is because it became like. But having said that, it has been that way for a long time. It's always been quite sceney and quite cliquey, isn't it? And if your face doesn't fit, then you're not going to get a chance. I just find it a little bit depressing when the industry seems to concentrate more on people's lifestyle and what they do and how much money they have and who they're going out with, rather than any kind of musical credibility that they may have.
I find it quite depressing when you read a review for an album and then think, I don't know if I'm going to like that or not.
Didn't talk about music at all.
Didn't tell me anything about it.
That tends to happen. That tends to happen a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's a critique of the artist rather than the material. And that's music journalism for you, I suppose. It's people who can't write.
Who just
writing for people who can't read.
Pretty much. So what are your plans for the future now then? What would you hope to happen next?
Well, I think I'll be doing. I'll be going into the studio at the end of the summer with the Bluetones to try and sort of knock some ideas together and see where we are. And we're going to record over the winter. Cool. I hope to break that up with a little bit more touring with the Mummies.
Yeah.
And
why the Mummies? Were you going for alliteration there?
Yeah,
basically. And the Monkeys have been done, so it's
exactly.
like.
And it's going to be the midriffs. I quite like the midriffs as well.
That's quite good.
Because of the musical connotations, but the Mummies, I thought the band will be happy with that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, just kind of I'm going to keep touring this record for a little while, and then break it up and concentrate on the next Bluetones album after that for a year or so, and then see where we are. If I get a chance to do another solo record, I'll jolly well do it.
Cool. Well, thank you for speaking to us.
No, my pleasure.
We're looking forward to the gig tonight.
Oh well, thanks for coming out.
Cool.
Are you on the list? Have you spoken to Andy?
Yeah.